Hi friends, what is the meta in Apex Legends Season 16? That's what we're going to look at today. We'll cover the weapon meta, the legend meta, and the ranked meta in Apex Legends. Let's start with the legend meta. I've got some interesting pick rate stats for you because some of the OGs have returned to the top. Take a look. You can see Wraith is once again the most picked legend. It's been a good few seasons. In fact, most of last year, Wraith was slowly dropping down from number 1, but that's all changed now this season thanks to her buff and the new class system. The other OGs you can see up there are Pathfinder as the second most picked. It's maybe unsurprising as the new class system makes Pathfinder very strong, somewhat surprisingly strong in fact, and on top of the much better and faster zipline speed and distance, you can pretty much instantly get his ult just by looking at a care package, which is way easier than the old passive of having to scan a beacon. It's pretty crazy, but I think it is about time that Pathfinder had something good happen for him. I mean, for too long his old passive was average at best. One other interesting thing is that the higher you go up in terms of rank, you see Pathfinder picked the most out of any legend, even above Wraith. Have a look at the silver pick rate compared to the diamond pick rate right here, and that's where you'll see the difference. So in fact, a lot of the higher level players are picking Pathfinder. Now overall, this means there's a heavy movement meta in Apex Legends Season 16, but it's slightly different to the previous and most recent seasons where that movement meta has been more of a repositioning meta with Valkyrie. It's kind of a different movement meta now with Wraith and Pathfinder. Scanning legends are still around, but the scanning meta isn't as heavy as it has been in previous seasons. You can see Seer's pick rate being really low. In previous seasons he was getting close to 5% and even above 5% pick rate, but now he's way below that. Bloodhound's still doing quite strong and probably the only one flying the flag for the scanning legends at the moment in Season 16, and that's probably thanks to their slight rework to their passive, slightly tweaking the way their scan meta works. So Bloodhound is still a fairly solid pick, but there definitely isn't a massive scan meta as there has been in previous seasons. Also, the final thing about legend meta is that there's a much better use case for support legends now like Lifeline and Loba, and that's thanks to their ability to craft back teammates' banners. I've definitely done it a good few times in ranked and it has made a good difference. You can see in diamond level, Loba and Lifeline are in the top line of most picked legends. Previously this was unheard of. You wouldn't even see these two close to the top 10 in previous seasons. And because of this and the new class system, I think there is a more varied team meta this season where you see a bit of a spread out of classes rather than just teams full of movement legends or teams full of scanning legends. I mean, last season and the season before, there were teams running both Seer and Bloodhound, but there's definitely less of that this season. So that's kind of how the legend meta plays out, a heavy movement focus favouring Wraith and Pathfinder, but also a slight increase for support legends like Lifeline and Loba. Let's move on to weapon meta. It's the season of shotguns and assault rifles. With the introduction of the Nemesis assault rifle, it feels like most teams are running an assault rifle, whether that be the Nemesis, the R301 or the Flatline, because you've got a good number of viable options now. It's not surprising because assault rifles have always been popular, it's just kind of always been the R301 or the Flatline, but now the Nemesis adds something new to the mix. Now I don't think there's ever really been a season where the assault rifle hasn't been that popular, apart from that season when Vantage dropped and it just felt like everyone was using snipers. But in Season 16 it just feels like assault rifles are just that little bit more popular. They did nerf the assault rifle's hipfire though in Season 16, and what that means is the secondary weapons in Apex Legends have moved to a close up selection, particularly shotguns. And one of the reasons shotguns seem more popular this season is because they did receive a fairly good buff with the introduction of the stock helping the stability as well as the gold shotgun bolt. On top of that, the shotguns have had a bit of a buff. For example, the Mastiff has had improvements to the spread and the ease of which you can hit your shots with the Mastiff. I think the other thing that's helped the shotgun meta this season is the fact that the Volt's in the Crafter, and that affects the SMG meta. Yes, the car is still strong, but it was nerfed slightly. The R99 is the only SMG that actually had a buff this season, and the R99 is looking pretty good. So we'll say the R99 is the only SMG exception to the meta, but there's definitely a strong assault rifle and shotgun meta in Season 16. Let's finish this Apex Legends meta video by looking at the ranked meta. Now, prepare yourself for bizarre matchmaking, which gives you teammates which could be well below your level and put you against triple stack Predator teams. To be fair, pub's matchmaking isn't much different. In ranked you'd expect it to be a lot closer in terms of the matchmaking, but this season a lot of people are finding unbalanced matchmaking, and what that means for the ranked meta is that it seems a lot more teams are playing more aggressive, and I think in part they're doing that because they know if they get loads loads of kills, in some respect it doesn't matter how high they finish. As long as they get a load of kills and do fairly well, get in the top 10 for example, they know they can rank up fairly quickly. Plus on top of that, the defensive controller legend meta isn't as big this season. Like I was saying earlier, the movement legends like Wraith and Pathfinder are the ones that are being picked the most this season thanks to their buffs and the fact that they're so strong this season. And obviously when you've got more aggressive movement legends like Wraith and Pathfinder, that can often drive your team to be more aggressive, and I think that's really influenced the ranked meta so far in season 16. The other reason this could be the case is because the maps are changing every 24 hours for the first time in Apex Legends, and what that means is instead of having the same playstyle for a whole split, actually teams are kind of mixing it up now, and perhaps being more aggressive on a map like World's Edge or Broken Moon, perhaps a bit slower and more defensive on a map like Stormpoint because it's bigger and slower. Now I'll be honest, I haven't played that much ranked in the last 2 seasons. In fact, last season I barely played at all, which meant this season I got set all the way back to Rookie. Unfortunately I was ill at the start of season 16, but in the last couple of days I've been grinding a little bit, and within 3 or 4 gaming sessions somehow I've managed to get from Rookie all the way up to Gold. And while I still got some way to go on my climb to Masters this season, it's certainly looking like teams are being a lot more kill hungry, and even myself I found that because I've ranked up so much faster this season. So there you have it, that's the main meta, supported by some data and stats on pick rates and player usage, currently in Apex Legends Season 16. Hopefully this will help you decide which legends are meta, and therefore which legends might be better for you to pick, and also which weapons are meta, as well as what the playstyle at the moment in Ranked is. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.